Well, Joe Fredericks, you hear that water running through your gutters?
Snowing out here.
It's snowing while the snow is melting and the birds are chirping. What does that sound like to you?
April.
Officially. So much so that it appears as though, as I've witnessed you just spontaneously decide to open your car hatch, that you got a lot of ice fishing gear in here. Putting it away for the season?
Well, I was. And typically, that would be my approach. March 31st, end of ice fishing season. That's been my mentality for over 10 years, LB.
Well, it makes sense. Lake trout season's over, and that's pretty much all you think about leading up to January 1st and till March 31st. It's an obsession.
Yeah, and so when that date comes, March 31st, and it's the last go out of the year, the last adventure, the last time chasing trout, it kind of starts to open up a sense of melancholy. Oh, I can reflect on a season gone by and all the good times, but I also know that the long month of April is ahead.
Melancholy. Indeed, I feel that hard today. It has been a freaking fantastic March. Great experiences and conditions in the boundary waters. There's that auger.
Oh, this new auger was fantastic. And yeah, I think normally when I'd be putting this away, as I'm about to do here in the fishing shed, I'd be like, well, see you next early ice, walleye, November, December type mindset.
Well, I guess since it is the time of maybe putting it away, should we at least celebrate some of the cool things we've done in March, especially in the last couple of weeks of March?
Just even the last week alone.
It was pretty full, wasn't it?
Oh, it's been incredible. After Canoecopia got back, I mean, we got stranded over there, as we said, and that blizzard that a lot of people had to stay that extra day for, and kind of spent the next part of that week sort of recalibrating and getting our bearings straight. And then this final week of March has been one day after the next. I've been out in the boundary waters, up to Quetico, all over Superior National Forest, having these adventures, and the fishing's been incredible and getting out there a ton. I know you've been out there a lot too.
Absolutely, yeah. Just some really incredible ski conditions, of which I've never really explored or experienced before. And I was feeling that, sort of trigger that Canoecopia can be, that like, the season's coming to a close and starting to get a little bummed out and just starting to think about just paddling and then a whole new world.
50 years ago, a group of friends met at a diner and began to organize a movement. They called themselves Friends of the Boundary Waters. Through grassroots organizing, they fought to make the boundary waters the protected wilderness it is today. For 50 years, we've defended the boundary waters. Our strength is in our members. It is in you. To learn more and join this movement, please visit friends-bwca.org.
This episode of the podcast is supported by Loon's Nest Coffee. They are closed for the season up the Gunflint Trail until late May 2026. You can still, of course, though, order coffee at loonsnest.coffee. You can get merchandise coffee there, have it shipped to the house. Loon's Nest Coffee, located up the Gunflint Trail, but right now, over the winter and into the early spring, you want to be ordering from the website, loonsnest.coffee. Appreciate Bob and all the support, and my goodness, are we excited for our cardamom roll come May. What's one of the adventures or some of the things you've been doing?
Well, I got to talk about crust skiing. And I know that is a thing for some people, but for most people like me who love cross-country skiing, that's what their favorite way to get through the winter. It's a thing people do on groomed trails. And we've got great groomed trails up here. I typically alternate between Pincushion, right, in Grand Marais, and going up to the Mid-Gunflint Trail System, Golden Eagle Lodge, Bearskin Lodge. And it's been a great year for that. But then as those conditions start to deteriorate, which they have been earlier and earlier, it's either mushy when it's warm, or it's hard and frozen and sometimes even chunked up by other skiers. So it gets more and more undesirable. But off the trails, on the lakes, that freeze-thaw pattern creates, as you know, from being out there, a crust. And that crust, I've heard about it, people have talked about it, is great for skiing. I've never gotten out to try it. I mean, not really. We did it that one year out on Pine. Remember, I brought my skate skis out to camp and kind of skied around the bay there by the campsite.
Yeah.
But that was it. So I went out to Elbow Lake one morning. I was feeling especially down that morning. And I was like, I need something to break me out of this. So I went, and I just took off. Flew. I couldn't believe how fast I was going, especially like just that flat lake with like these sort of frozen drifts that you can kind of go up and down and up and down, and the speed just starts to build on itself. You start going faster and faster, and I fly all the way down Elbow to the Elbow, around it, and then I start taking off. I'd never really been up that other side, just kept going and going, and there were some snowmobile tracks out there, and I was like, that's cool. And then all of a sudden these snowmobiles come flying down. Of course, they don't even see me tucked away by the shore, all flying by. And it was perfect. And as the sun came out, I realized I kicked real hard in one spot. Ski just dropped through the ice. I was like, oh, now that the sun's out.
Or through that crust.
Through the crust, yeah, thank you, not through the ice. And I realized, oh man, so this is a very sort of particular condition. It was below freezing. Quite a bit actually that morning, but that sun heat was going to start softening that crust. So I was like, it's time to head back. And man, just flew back, just lost in the total ecstasy of momentum and that ski rhythm. So I knew right then I needed to get out and do a longer, more extensive trip.
Wow. Yeah, and so you did just that then, right?
Well, yes, my couple of good friends, Sarah and Kate, who also have flexible schedules such as me, I said, I've always wanted to do the DIRD, as some people call it, the DRD. It's the Duncan Rose Daniels Loop. I would say like 15 and a half miles, give or take. And why don't we get out on that crust and ski it in a day? Estimated maybe skate skiing probably 3 hours. And I was all gung-ho to skate ski. Realized they classic ski. So I switched to classic. And so we took off at about, met at the West Bearskin parking lot at about 9 o'clock. Got our day permit. Kate had never skied in the Boundary Waters before. A new skier, great athlete. And we just took off, and the conditions were perfect. We flew across West Bearskin, actually didn't take my skis off for the entire portage, even though it's a well-packed portage from West Bearskin to Duncan. Sarah introduced her favorite method for going fast down the icy portages. Sit on the back of your skis without taking them off. Turn it into a sled.
Wow. Genius.
I mean, we got going fast. Butt sliding. Perfect conditions. Introduced Kate to Rose Falls. Gorgeous spot, covered in ice. Run into a couple other Cook County folks on the portage. Jeannie and Oli are right, out on a spring break skate ski. Say our hellos, and then out into mighty Rose. We start flying down Rose, just at a nice long clip. Then the wind kicks up.
Oh, yeah.
Headwind. Just right bearing down upon us. Not too bad, but enough. And there was something beautiful about leaning into the wind in the wide open frozen lake that just said, this is perfect. And I don't know about you, but at the end of Rose, headed to the east, there's a portage that some people have nicknamed the Baby Grand. You know that one?
No, I haven't been on it. I know what you're talking about, but I haven't been on. Over a mile long.
Yeah, 600 and some rods between Rose and Daniels Lake. And that's in this little section of the border that I have yet to complete, from the Fowls all the way out to Knife Lake. So it was a little part of my agenda to cover a little ground that I hadn't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I don't know about you, but for me, there's a giddiness when I find myself in a place in the Boundary Waters that I've never been to before. Just the idea of it sends an excited energy through my body. And I start looking around more intentionally, noticing campsites, trees, shoreline, and that portage.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it was interesting because on the portage, the crust wasn't as consistent. So I was breaking trail for the first half and breaking through at times. And you know how it is trudging on a portage.
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of get into a rhythm. And you just go, and conversation kind of cuts out, and you're following each other's trails. And that kind of proceeded that way, uphill for quite a while. And then at the top of that portage, there's like a whole section of that flowage that's just been transformed by beaver activity for at least a half mile.
Wow.
And there's evidence, obviously, of a very healthy otter population. And there was a hole in the ice that was so obviously where the otters come and go, and it disappears, and you can't see where they could pop up. But you can see that it's wet around there, like they come out and they shake off, and they probably roll around in the snow and bask in the sun. And they're having their own little life up there, living away from everything. And so we ski down probably 200 yards, and there's the next hole. Tracks come out of the hole, up onto the portage trail, and continue right in front of us. And with the dusting of snow that had happened, they were probably there in the half an hour before we were passing through.
Wow.
And so it's that kind of magic of the season that's just incredible. Getting to see and experience the wilderness in such a smooth and fast way on the crust. And I'd say the most epic part of the whole day was the last quarter mile on Daniels. That wind turned into a steady 30-mile-an-hour consistent gust. We're trudging into it, leaning into it. At one point, Sarah threw her arms up and just slowly started moving backwards on her skis. And we knew it was the real deal. We just put our heads down. I hooted and hollered in the way that keeps me going, and we pushed on to the end.
Wow. That is a very epic journey in late season crust skiing.
Yeah, what I thought would maybe take 4.5 hours tops was about 5.5 hours with snack breaks and all. But what a way to just be out there. And sort of wondering, yeah, what does it mean?
Late season adventures?
Yeah, it just got me thinking. What about you? You've been out on that crust and in that snow and all sorts of places.
Well, come on in here. I got to show you something, actually.
Where are we going?
I got to show you a little something I brought home with me the other day.
Oh, it's warm in here.
Yeah, wood stove's still going, you know. Take a look at that.
What you got in the fridge? Oh, look at those lake trout. Wow, that's like golden, tender lake trout meat on a big platter. What's going on there?
Well, I'm going to be making lox out of that, actually, and we'll have a video up on the Paddle Portage YouTube page about it. So go check that out here in the near future, probably within a week's time, and early April.
Is it going to involve me taste testing anything?
That's the current plan.
All right.
That's the current plan.
It better involve some bagels and cream cheese.
Red onion, capers.
Okay, sign me up. My mood is shifting as we speak.
But the story of how that trout came to be here, my place in the woods, is went up to Quetico and did some ice fishing up there. And
When you say Quetico, Saginaw?
yeah, went across Sag, through the corridor, on snowmobiles. This was very, very late March, like the last few days of March here. And motored up, got it. We still have our ABCs, this group of 4 of us who went up there that day. Motor across Sag, the Canadian side, the main body outside the wilderness, and get up to the Quetico border, park the sleds at Hook Island right across from American Point there. Go walking into Cache Bay, and had been there fishing before, ice fishing, but the more you go, you kind of start to get some spots.
And you got some spots. When you say walking, are you just booting it?
Yeah, just booting it. It was perfect travel conditions. Actually,
What's that crust?
I even had to stop and put spikes on. I was walking and did one of the whoa.
Huh. Your boot slid out from under you.
Yeah, so I had tossed my spikes in at the end, like crampon style spikes, and put those on the boots and wore them most of the day, actually. I mean, this is, Sag's so big that it gets wind blown in a way that even a place like Rose doesn't, and Duncan and so forth. So great travel conditions, which allowed us to go anywhere. And we caught some fish right out of the gates.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lake trout.
Nice, dark colored 25-inch lake trout. And putting them back, it's barbless hooks up in Quetico. And
Extra challenging.
Yep, but also means easy to release. I mean, the hook just either pops right out as soon as it's on the ice, or you can take it out so easily. So quick, clean release of these fish. And we went further into Cache Bay. You and I had been in this far years ago when we went and saw Janice and at her island there in Cache Bay, and we went past the ranger station, past that campsite island, way down into Cache Bay because you could. It was just so easy to move around.
Were you down in that bay that we visited with Peter, kind of on the way to the falls?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of waiting to hear the falls, and either they're just still so locked up that they aren't doing that yet, or
muffled by the snow and ice, probably.
Yeah, combination of. And it wasn't too windy that day. It was a sunny, gorgeous day, actually.
Cold?
No, maybe. Relatively speaking, it was probably 28 degrees or something like that. So easy conditions, got deep into Cache Bay, and I was with our pal Chad, who lives down at the end of the trail, and he says at one point, like, I think there's a big wall here. There should be like 15 feet of water right here. We're just popping holes at random, and then I think it should be like 50 feet over here. And so as soon as he says that, I drop my lure down. He's like, here's this wall. Should be this wall.
Chad wanted a break in the old wall, ladies and gentlemen.
We found it. Nice fish.
I can count on you, Chad.
Yeah. You want me to get her?
Oh, baby, Chad.
That's a nice fish. Holy cow.
Chad wanted a break in the old wall.
So that was out me catching this big lake trout, which is now in the fridge. That's the very trout that we are looking at here that I'll be making locks out of, is that one I caught there.
I thought it looked like a Canadian lake trout.
Exactly. So that was just an awesome day out there to get that far into Quetico, and we covered, quite a few miles that day. It's about a 2-mile walk from the snowmobiles just to get to Cache Point, and then we went far, far beyond, and then of course, got to loop back. And so maybe a 9-mile day, something like that, and just felt so good out there the whole time, pulling sleds, having lunch, and just making a full day out in Canada. It was just a wonderful way to rejuvenate the spirit.
Do you feel that same excitement in a new place that I was sort of describing when you kind of go beyond the place that you've been before? Do you light up at all?
Yeah, it was nice to go past the island. I've been up to Janice's Island, the Cache Bay Ranger Station there a few times in the winter even, and to go past it, to look over it. I didn't even go up to it this time, but it was like right there, stone's throw away. And just to go past it had its own type of energy, and to see where we had stayed out on the island before and years past and threw our hammocks up there and said, oh, that's where the Albini stay was, right there. There's a fire ring up there. And then to get past that campsite where we'd been over and checked that out before, just seeing all those islands that were familiar but new, because when it's winter, everything just has this whole other look and feel. So it was a great thing to go into that new territory. That really was the highlight of the trip. And the fishing was just, it seemed to be getting better the deeper we went in too. And so morale was just high. Everybody's just moving strong and confidently. And it was one of my favorite days of the entire winter was that day.
Mm-hmm.
But being that I knew the end of the BWCA trout season was coming, I needed to get back out there. I was just pacing around still.
And I know that you've been a bit in mild anguish over having not caught a brook trout yet this year.
Yeah, so I hadn't caught a brook trout, been skunked, or just hadn't had good success or even many opportunities to get up to a brook trout lake. So I did get out a couple times after the Cache Bay trip even, and got that brook trout.
Heck yeah.
Beautiful, like 16-inch, just plump, wonderful brook trout. Made some tacos out of that. And then went one more time right as the season is ending, March 30th, and headed out to where the season started, actually.
I'm Jason with Ely Outfitting Company in downtown Ely, Minnesota. As the stories by Joe M. and the Paddle and Portage team inspire you to explore the boundary waters, let our trail-savvy crew make your trip planning simple. If you haven't tried our free online trip routing service, complete with awesome interactive maps, check out elyoutfittingcompany.com. And when you're ready, find complete outfitting services, lightweight canoe rentals, and comfy bunkhouse lodging at Ely Outfitting Company.
And this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Tuscarora Lodge and Canoe Outfitters, located on Round Lake. Tuscarora is a full-service Boundary Waters outfitter, serving Gunflint Trail entry points. They're now booking 2026 canoe trips and cabins. Check them out online at TuscaroraCanoe.com or on their Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook pages at Tuscarora Canoe. Be sure to check out all their adventures on their social media pages as well. Back up the Gunflint Trail where the ice fishing winter camping season started. Clearwater Lake. Looks quite a bit different than when we began that journey with the great Josh Dix. Oregon Bill was out, of course, for the epic trip, the Mind Games episode that we later produced. Filling out a permit, just one other vehicle here in the lot this morning. And pretty sure I know who that is. Our old pal Dean, up for the day for fishing. So we're going to head in and see what happens here. It's been a good season. Looking back on the winter camping, ice fishing adventures, other adventures we've had out and about, I would say it ranked as a solid winter conditions-wise. Plenty of snow, lots of ice. Didn't get that rain from like a few years ago. Out fishing with Ada and Andy from Tuscarora, and frickin' started pouring rain on us. Great Josh Dix was there. Gosh, that was dreadful. So none of those sort of crummy days. And, yeah, it was just a good winter overall. Plenty of adventures and lots happening. Sounds like some more friends are coming around the bend here. So get the permit filled out and we'll be off and running. No time. What up, dude?
Glad you got that. I was going to fill it out this morning at home and forgot.
Oh, hey. I didn't mean to interrupt your...
No.
Okay.
Just doing some meditative contemplating about the winter.
Okay.
Solid winter.
It was a great winter. A real winter.
A real winter.
Yeah.
Like, didn't get that January rain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that a few years back or if it were around.
That was depressing. We were out on the water pulling sleds and you're making wake. Like there's like 22 inches of water on the ice.
It just sucked.
It was terrible.
So, yeah, had some cold, some snow, plenty of ice.
Yeah.
Good fishing.
I say we still have over 30 inches of ice on most lakes I've been drilling on.
Yeah.
Well, it was a real winter. It was good.
What's your plan here, dude, for auger? Where are we going today? You feeling ambitious? We gonna just sort of go out and fish?
Well, your word was explore. We're just gonna go explore.
Yeah,
so
right.
I just think we go out there and see where the spirit moves us. And I'll bring my auger.
Should I bring mine too?
I kind of like having two because we sort of wander away from each other, right? Everybody.
If we do split up. So getting down Clearwater LB felt kind of similar to the conditions when we were headed out with the great Josh Dix and Oregon Bill on that trip, early season, our first camping trip of the year. And it had a certain type of energy, but Chad, who I was with, and our new pal Mitchell, who lives up there, his wife Mariah, on Clearwater in that area, it was just like, we wanted to get fish. It was like, the season's ending. It's all coming down to this. And Chad's drilling holes. He probably drilled 40 holes. Mitchell at one point's like, is he going to fish or just drill holes all day?
And that's no small feat considering how thick the ice is.
Yeah, there's still 3 feet of ice. But it was just kind of that energy of like, we don't really know where we're fishing. This isn't like Cache Bay. We're so spoiled with that success and just the beauty of that day up there and that remoteness of Quetico that is just kind of like this feels kind of uneasy. It was windier than heck. The same as like when you were skiing that day, it just kind of adds a sense of anxiety to the day. If you're just sitting there jigging in unknown water, like, is there even fish here? What exactly are we doing? Which is why Chad just constantly popping new holes. And so it wasn't exactly like the greatest day, but it was still like, well, it's March 30th. I feel like I should be out here because in 2 days I can't be out here. So we kind of forced our way through it, coming back, leaving Clearwater Road. The Forest Service had a snowmobile trailer that they were towing, and they got jackknifed, and the road's all blocked off. And a couple of the Forest Service employees were like, Chad and I get out of our vehicles and go walking up to them, and they're like, yeah, hey Joe, sorry, type thing, and we'll be out of here shortly. And they were, certainly, but I think it had been quite an ordeal for them to have to deal with that situation. And I came back, and it was like, well, it's the last day, March 31st, last day of the season. Should I go out? I woke up, it's snowing out, pretty heavy, and ultimately just decided to go for it. You know what? Tomorrow I can't do this. I'm running up to Mink Lake, up Trout Lake Road. It's easy access. There's some splake in there. And so I'm going to get up there and see what happens. I'm out there fishing, caught some perch actually, and marking some fish and stuff. And all of a sudden somebody comes walking toward me with their dog. And I thought it was like the DNR maybe coming to check my license, which is common. They go on the opener and they are out on the last day of the season too. And so then this person approaches me though, and I said, you out for the last day of trout season? Kind of a pause, and this person who I'd never seen before was looking at me. She goes, are you Joe from the Paddle Portage Podcast?
Yeah. I bet she said, I recognize your voice.
Yeah, some version of that. And then we stopped and had a conversation.
Hi, my name's Megan Lowe. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's where I live. And I'm just up here on the Gunflint Trail for the last couple of days of trout season, trying to catch some fish.
How did you stumble into this conversation that we're having?
Well, I came out on to Mink Lake. It's the very last day of trout season. I'm on my way home trying to catch a fish, and I walked over to the other person who was out here to look for some insight because I have no idea what I'm doing. and it was Joe, right, from Paddle and Portage. And I was like, oh my gosh, you the Paddle and Portage guy? Yeah, and then we got to chatting, and here we are fishing together.
Yeah, cool. And was that like a voice recognition thing, or how did you?
Yeah, it was a voice recognition because I listened to the podcast. And like try to get insight on lakes and stuff up here from the podcast. So yeah.
Cool. And so this ice fishing thing and this whole scene is relatively new to you.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that journey begin for you?
Well, I moved to Minnesota. I grew up on the East Coast. I moved to Minnesota in 2018, and a friend took me on like my first Boundary Waters camping trip. I grew up camping and everything, and I was kind of hooked on the Boundary Waters, and I've been going ever since then. But I've never really gotten into fishing. And then I think last summer or the summer before, I was like, wait, why am I not fishing here? Like, this is the best place in the world to fish. So I just started getting into it, and now I'm into ice fishing too. So I just love it up here.
Yeah, cool. How's this final weekend been going for you?
It's been good. I got here on Saturday, and I had a pretty successful day on Daniels. That was like probably my first successful day fishing.
Nice.
So that was exciting.
That's great. You got some lake trout, huh?
Yes, I got some for me, they were good sized lake trout. I didn't even measure them because I just panic when they come out the hole.
You do, okay.
But, and then Sunday I got skunked. And yesterday I caught one little guy. But, yeah, so I'm trying to get another one or two today.
Yeah, all right, sweet. And how about just the Boundary Waters itself in terms of how you found it and why you are coming back here?
Yeah, I don't really know. I think, like, I just feel very connected to it. I don't know why. Like, I've heard other people on your podcast say that as well. And, yeah, I just kind of feel like, it sounds a little corny, but, like, a spiritual connection to the land when I come up here. Yeah, I just, like, feel super at peace. I just love it up here, and I'm trying to get up here, like, any chance that I can.
Yeah, I don't think that sounds corny at all. I think it sounds very relatable to me.
I love the trees. I love the forest. Yeah, I love the type of landscape up here. I just love it all.
And you grew up in Maryland.
Yeah.
And were you doing this kind of stuff as a kid or with your family and stuff?
Yeah, my parents are like pretty outdoorsy people, so we would go camping, and it's a lot more like streams and rivers there, so we would do like river camping, but nothing to the extent of like the Boundary Waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that you are picking up some of this newer stuff as you are evolving from your family's experiences out east into more of this, like you're doing stuff solo, getting out on the ice and some canoe trips and so forth that you're learning through YouTube.
Yeah.
Any channels in particular that you like? Or
Oh my gosh, the Hungry Hunter.
Hungry Hunter!
Who you interviewed. Yeah, he's not like super big on YouTube, but I love his videos. He like really gets after it, like hard skiing, like going really far in the winter. Yeah, I like his stuff. That's the main one that I can think of right now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we were just talking about him yesterday when we were out on Clearwater because he goes there frequently. And there was this guy over on the far bank. And I was like, I wonder if that's the Hungry Hunter. Haven't seen him all winter.
Yeah.
Type thing. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of why, as he described in that interview with him, that he does stuff is to help people learn how to do it safely and maybe successfully. And I just think it's great that you're out here on the last day of trout season. Like, come walking out, you and your dog Juniper, and just really inspiring in a way that, I was the only person out here, and it's just like well,
even
it's the
that,
last day.
like, I don't know if that's, like, fishing protocol to, like, walk up to the person, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to walk up and say hello and
it's great.
See where it goes.
Yeah, I think it's totally a legit thing to do. And really nice to meet you, and thanks for listening to the podcast and supporting the platform.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so glad I stumbled into you.
Cool. So LB, we've been getting out. We've been enjoying these end of season adventures, and now it's April. The time of melancholy. Time of reflection, the shoulder season.
I'm feeling that. And as we talk, Freddie, makes me wonder, does it really have to be over? Does it I mean, I know it's a tumultuous time of year in April. The temperatures can swing, the snow can come and go. But maybe that's not so bad.
Well, we got a snowstorm moving in here in early April, potentially 8-10 inches or more. By the time the weekend's done, it could be well over a foot for sure, easy. And how long does it stick around, these swinging temperatures, and what are we going to do? There's the trout season's closed in the BWCA. This is going to make your crust skiing all the more challenging. There's a reason to sort of be like, it's over. We're stuck down on the shore for the next 6 weeks, and what are we even going to do down here type thing.
Absolutely. And though I woke up this morning feeling a degree of resignation, I think I'm now shifting to inspiration.
You know, I'm feeling that myself. I think actually, LB, all these years living up here and the gloom of April, we've escaped, we've taken vacations, we've left the county for a while, weeks, certain times. We might have been wrong all this time. This could actually be a great time to be getting out there.
I think with a little shift in perspective, you may just be right. What does that mean, though? I mean, I know that what that means for me. Like, I just have to get out onto the lakes and see what the conditions are like, bring my backcountry skis or my skate skis and assess and put on whatever's going to work and just go. Like, I know that's what I got to do, but I'm not fishing. What does it mean for fishing?
Well, with the closure of the trout season, March 31st, for me, it's always meant the auger goes away. This year, talking with Chad and others, we're going to be going after whitefish in the boundary waters soon. In April, that season runs continuous. We'll be able to catch whitefish on some of these lakes, some places we've been before and places that we've never been. New territory. There's so much ice. That ice is going to be here through April without question. And also, this experience getting up into Quetico, the trout season runs continuous up there. It doesn't end until the fall. We have this 6-week break in Minnesota in the boundary waters for trout season. That's not the case in Quetico. And there's still so much ice up there, we'll be able to probably get back to Quetico again and go trout fishing.
And here's the thing. 12 inches potentially of new snow means it's going to have to melt and refreeze and turn back into crust. So we could get a whole new crust condition recreated in the second week of April. It could just go.
This April could be great. They could have all been great, and we just didn't know it because we moped around down here like dopes or we left the county.
What a bunch of hogwash. All we needed to do was change the way we thought about it all.
And I think that that's the relatable message here, is that this transition to spring, as it's occurring all over Minnesota, wherever you are listening to this episode of the podcast at, there's either going to be or has been a transition to spring. And it's what you do with that. It's how you sort of integrate it into your lifestyle. And we've been wrong up here in the boundary waters until this year, or at least we're going to try to find out.
Right. And I wouldn't necessarily say wrong, but maybe short-sighted. There just may be so many possibilities, regardless of outcome, to explore and find out. And whatever gets you out there, whatever gets me out there, that's always going to be good.
I think there's even the possibility for a spring, April, winter camping trip style hot tent, doing some white fishing. You could be skiing early in the morning. Some of these lakes, like, it doesn't have to just be a short day trip adventure. We can really embrace this extension of winter.
Well, you're actually saying what I was just thinking, but I wasn't quite ready to say it out loud in case I don't do it. But now I guess maybe gotta happen.
Get out there, LB.
You get out there.
You've been waiting all winter to
You've
use
been
that
waiting
new
all winter.
new solo tent.
Oh, God.
Get
I
out there
wasn't
and
gonna
get
say
it
that.
done.
God, no.
People are counting on you.
You're counting on me. Chad, I'm sorry.
I like to sing, I love to dance. I play the fool if I got the chance. All around the campfire light. All around the campfire light. I got this out of tune old guitar. Not trying to be no star. There's enough of them in a summer's night. Oh, there's enough of them in a summer's night. Well, you can look to Venus, you can look to Mars. I will set my sights by the northern star, and in the deep dark blue come the northern lights. Oh, and in the deep dark blue come the northern lights. To sing when I paddle canoe, feeling not thinking if the strokes are true. We're gonna get through to the other side. Out in the night, the waves beat the shore. You can hear them pounding, you can hear them roar. Oh, roll me, rock me in my dreams. You can roll me, rock me in my dreams. So I like to sing, I love to dance. I play the fool if I got the chance. All around the campfire light. All around the campfire light. All round, all round, all round the campfire light.